All right, so we are finally broadcasting live. Today is June 16th, 2016, the only time this will ever happen in the next, 100 years maybe?
Something like that.
This is ARMBAR Radio / podcast live, and you are listening to us. My name is Mike the Business. I have Tony over here in the corner right there with that
Me.
mad tattoo, and then you got Mr. Jay Achoa here. Rocking the, what shirt are you wearing today?
It's a Dolph Ziggler shirt.
Dolph Ziggler shirt, Ziggy Smalls would like to call him. So this is ARMBAR Radio, and this is our weekly podcast that we do on YouTube, but we also pre-record for our station over here at 97.7 FM Mission Mcallen in Mcallen, Texas. If you guys don't know where Mcallen, Texas is, Google it, and you'll see that we are at the very, very bottom of Texas, basically. People think that San Antonio is South Texas, but no. Mcallen, Texas, Hidalgo, Texas, Mission, Texas. This is South Texas, and we talk about wrestling on a weekly basis here at the station, 97.7 FM. We are currently in Tony's beautiful home here. We record the podcast here live at weekly in his kitchen / nook area, I guess, right?
Yeah, just don't go to the garage right now because it looks like someone had a hardcore match in there.
So as you can see here, I have all my equipment set up. I have my audio board, my MacBook Pro. We have all the professional mics set up. So right now we got 0 viewers, but hopefully that'll change within the next hour or so. Hopefully our one main viewer is not with us right now.
I did send the link to 2 other loyal viewers, and that being our viewer from Michigan, Corey, and then, of course, our viewer from Edinburgh, John the Rocker.
Great. Well, hopefully, I'm messing up here already. Hopefully, we get some people going here. It says, I don't know what's going on over here in the corner. Oh, there you go. Hold on. We still have 0 viewers. Your friend Corey still hasn't caught up. But hopefully, we get our usual viewers, the Orthas, and your friend Corey from Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe we got some rock and roll James going over here, one of our local.
James is actually working right now.
Oh, what a shame. So we'll give James a shout out. Once we get the actual show going, but just to recap, like I said, this is a weekly wrestling radio podcast, and on occasion, Jay over here will talk about MMA. We'll get into some boxing also, and we'll talk about a little bit of the independent scene on wrestling as well. My name's Mike again, and we're going to get our actual recording started. So, Tony, I hope you're ready, bro, because this is it, man. No pressure.
Yeah, you're just only on YouTube, man. It's all
no
right.
pressure, Tony. This is YouTube. I mean, once
we're live, buddy.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. This is live. Us.
Like Jim Ross once told Psycho Sid during a live interview, "We're live, buddy." Yeah.
So anyway, you ready for the countdown? I'll give you a 10-second countdown. All right, we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to another episode of ARMBAR Radio. It is June 16, 2016. What a combination. Now, my name is Tony the Machine Matuk. My esteemed co-hosts,
Jay the WrestlePedia.
And we got over here Mike the Businessman Basalua.
We have plenty of information to be covered. We want to do a 10 bells, actually, to Chris Warren, the late Chris Warren. He was actually the lead singer that did the theme song of DX, D-Generation X. It was back in the Attitude Era. We also lost another wrestling pioneer, Gypsy Joe. So we're going to have a moment of silence with these 2 great pioneers that revolutionized the Attitude Era and the Indies.
All right, let's see if I can get this going for the 10-bell moment of silence here. Okay, let's get that going.
All right, thank you, Mike. It's just been a really weird week. A lot of
hectic weekend, also in Orlando, by the way.
Yeah.
Our hearts go out to all the families and people's lives that were lost over there in Orlando this past weekend. Just a travesty, by the way.
It definitely was.
Tragedy, whatever you want to call it. Just reckless and something that you never want to see go down and wherever you live, obviously. But aside from, the recent deaths that we've had in wrestling, I want to just throw that out there. want to give them a shout out. I mean, because I think one of the guys was from down here, actually, from Westlaco, from what I know. But yeah, man, just really bad.
It's been really a hectic year with so many fallen wrestlers, fighters that have been passing away before our very eyes.
Entertainers.
The people that have paved the way for sports entertainment, and I mean, it's very sad to lose one wrestler to one fighter after another, and these guys that put in the long road trips to be away from their families. We finally we lose more and more each day, and wrestling, fighting, anything with sports entertainment, it's not an easy business. I mean, it takes a lot out of you, and I give special thanks to all these men and women that risk their bodies, that actually entertain us. I mean, like they always say, do not try this at home. I know we've done some crazy things in the past, to some advertisements and stuff like that, but leave it to the real professionals, the guys that actually work really hard and do this for a living. That they bring food to the table, they do whatever it takes to survive. So I want to give my allegiance to them.
Absolutely, man. When they say don't try this at home, it's not just for advertisement. It's things have happened that unfortunately have led to injury, even also unfortunately death. But just says we earlier in the year we did some videos back at the old incubator, but at the same time though, when it comes down to it, these are things that we should be leaving to the professionals, the guys that do this for a living, the guys that are away from their families to ply their trade every day in the ring. So if anything, just as the old saying goes, leave it to the professionals. Don't try it at home. And to the men and women that give their body and soul to professional wrestling, all we can say is thank you and continue to rock on.
Mike, you have any words?
No. I mean, I think you guys said it all. I mean, I think that, we're paying homage to, the people that paved the way is obviously just, the best thing that we can do. And, giving that moment of silence that we just did, honor them.
If you don't mind, I want to just share something brief. Guys, if you, I know some of you guys that are big, wrestling fans. I know you guys watch wrestling, and you guys probably have a Netflix. Right now on Netflix, you need to watch this documentary. It's actually very interesting. It's gotten to a point it made #1 Forbes magazine already. It's the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. It talks about, also Scott Hall. Scott Hall's going to be coming out with a DVD. And DDP down in Dallas has helped these fallen wrestlers get back right up again. And, for all these wrestlers, whoever watches or listening, guys ever feel like doing something that shouldn't be doing, I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, suicide is the last thing you guys should be thinking of. And, Jake Roberts, he overcame those obstacles, and he's going to have some, temptations. They all have demons. Everybody's got demons. That's why we're not perfect. But you guys need to watch this resurrection of Jake Roberts. It's very incredible, the documentary. DDP did a great job getting these two in order. They lost a lot of weight. They got their life back together, their family. And I've seen it already twice. I can't get enough of it. And it's inspiring. And for anybody that wants to change their life, watch that show. Watch that documentary. I met Jake. Jay and I watched Jake Roberts live. We got to meet him live. It was on his birthday, and he did the unspoken word of Jake the Snake Roberts. And you know what? That man's been through it all. And I know whoever's going through hard times right now, you guys are not alone. Things could be worse. So always think positive. Watch our show. And, we always say at the end of the show what Scott Hall says, good times, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Well, we want to let you know that. And, this is what it's all about. ARMBAR Nation, guys, keep giving us love. So right now we're going to talk about the main information, what's going on for Money in the Bank. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw.
Well, did Jay want to talk about
or do you want to start off with the Indies?
Slammiversary or something like that?
Start off with the Indies first. We'll get to Monday Night Raw.
Definitely. I mean, this past Sunday, of course, was Slammiversary, which was in the Impact Zone, Orlando, Florida, which I just want to also say thank you to TNA Wrestling, for Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, for paying tribute to the those that unfortunately lost their lives in that massacre that took place in Orlando. You know, it was a very sad day in Orlando for that to be taking place, especially, you know, when it was just so unnecessary. But I'm, you know, thankful to TNA management for standing, you know, for giving them those that unfortunately that were lost in Orlando, you know, that giving them the tribute that was needed in Orlando, Florida, right before the pay-per-view this past Sunday. And just overall, you know, very class act from TNA. Also, same thing from WWE the very next night on Monday Night Raw. And it was also a fantastic show. Of course, we saw, you know, a new World Heavyweight Champion for TNA, Bobby Lashley, defeating Drew Galloway in a matchup that involved, of course, the match either being won by submission or knockout. Lashley won, but it was more by pass out in this case. But it was also about Full Metal Mayhem, which Jeff Hardy battled Matt Hardy, and it was a fantastic battle between two men that helped specialize the tables, ladders, and chairs and brought it to TNA with Full Metal Mayhem. And then also new X Division champion with Eddie Edwards becoming the new X Division champion, winning the title in a Four Corners match that involved then champion Trevor Lee, Andrew Revitt, and of course DJZ, and a new Knockouts champion with Sienna, plus also the news of Gail Kim becoming the newest member of the TNA Hall of Fame. She'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame this coming October during Bound for Glory weekend. And also with Money in the Bank being Sunday, it's not the only major event that's taking place Sunday. New Japan Pro Wrestling will present Dominion, also, of course, which most likely will be live on New Japan's New Japan World, which is their equivalent to the WWE Network. Many big matches, including a lot of New Japan versus ROH head-to-head battles, including the Guerrillas of Destiny taking on the Briscoes for the New Japan IWGP Tag Team titles, the rematch for the IWGP Heavyweight title between Tatsuya Naito and Kazuchika Okada, as those two will do battle for the IWGP Heavyweight belt, the rematch of Invasion Attack this past April. And then, of course, the one I'm definitely looking forward to, Kenny Omega defending the IWGP Intercontinental title against Unbreakable Michael Elgin. It was supposed to be against Tanahashi initially, but Tanahashi was injured with a shoulder injury. But at this point in time, with Tanahashi being out, Michael Elgin, of course, his tag team partner in Japan, will fill in. Major opportunity for the Unbreakable one in a ladder match that'll also be taking place between those two Sunday at Dominion, live on New Japan World. Other than that, of course, as far as Sunday, while Dominion is going to be, I'm sure, a hot event for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and TNA just had a great pay-per-view this past Sunday with Slammiversary, leads us into this Sunday with Money in the Bank. But before we can get to Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, we got to go to Monday night from Monday Night Raw. Mike?
Monday Night Raw recap, guys. This isn't my thing, right? Okay, so basically, Raw is the longest weekly episodic show in history, guys. And we like to talk about it, right? So basically, the club starts off Raw going up against the Vaudevillains. And with who else? Who else, guys? Was it the Vaudevillains?
It was actually the club, the Vaudevillains against New Day and Big Cass and Enzo.
Yeah, we also got it was a 3-man, or it was a 6-man, excuse me.
8-man.
8-man, man. So there's just like so many 8-man, 6-man tag matches going on. I always get confused
so
when I see all the names, but pretty big match. I mean, I wasn't disappointed. What about you guys?
Well, I mean, they're kind of saving for the pay-per-view as far as the fatal four-way, so it's kind of is what it is.
They should just make a Money in the Bank tag team contract.
Well, but we've seen the Money in the Bank. We've seen a tag team elimination chamber match, excuse me. So I could see that down the road.
If they could do it at the El Cine El Rey, they could do it in WWE.
Oh, yeah. Too many legalities, maybe, like you said.
Yeah.
But like I said, the club and the Vaudevillains get the win over Enzo, Big Cass, and the New Day. Afterwards, the segment I want to talk about is Corporate Kane returns. And I was like, where's Kane been for so long, right? He's been gone MIA for a while.
That was awesome. I mean, he brings a resume And then a letter of recommendation by the Undertaker.
He's got
Man, Shane McMahon knows very well.
He had a letter of recommendation.
I know. And then he's like, "You're not upset about I thought we put this past behind us about the the battery and stuff like that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, we're over that."
It just didn't help his cause.
So Kane giving his argument on why he should run SmackDown, etc. I think him and like Teddy Long are going to duke it out. Hopefully, I'm excited to see who's going to be running the shows, and hopefully, I see Stephanie McMahon and Shane finally just go into more of a background type scene and let new guys run the show. Basically, it'll change what we see now. I mean, not that the change that we have seen now is bad. I'm ever since WrestleMania season, finished, and now we have the new year for wrestling. It's been a lot of changes, a lot of new talent, etc. But I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen after this brand split, and it's just exciting to see. So Kane being back is huge, in my opinion. I mean, I'm hoping that, but like Tony said, I think he might be running for Congress or state governor.
I think it's senator.
So there you go. Kane, one of the most highly educated men in the business, in my opinion. He might run for state senator for where at again? I don't even know.
Tennessee. He's from Knoxville, Tennessee.
From Tennessee, there you go. You never know. The big red monster might be in charge of the state. Who knows?
He's I think libertarian. That's what I think. That's between libertarian. I think is between Republican and Democrat. I think that's what the lineup.
That's a toughie, by the way. I think.
Yeah, he's very. I was listening to one of his political views, and he's very, very intelligent when it comes to the economy. And I was learning about taxes. Man, the taxes to Tennessee are just high compared to Texas. I mean, ours 8.25%.
That's because I think ours is high, by the way.
I know over there, I think it's like 9 to 10%.
Yeah,
that's pretty high, but. Hey, do you think I think the big red monster could probably choke slam down those taxes. I don't know.
You never know. Maybe he'll make some big changes over there in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Fire and brimstone, as JR would say.
All right, so let's go to that next segment here, guys. We're going to talk about the Ambrose Asylum, featuring guest stars were Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Basically, the return of the Shield for one night and one night only.
And then also the build-up of that with the Shield vignettes, talking about when they debuted at Survivor Series 2012, how they turned face, the night after WrestleMania 30, or officially cemented that, I should say. And then the breakup on June 2nd, 2014 on Raw. It was a very entertaining segment on the Ambrose Asylum. I mean, you had talking about the old times, but then Seth Rollins just had to heel it back in by saying, my favorite memory with you guys in the rings, the night I broke up the Shield. But I love the little monkey wrench Dean Ambrose threw in, saying, may not be Roman Reigns or it may not be Seth Rollins that leaves Las Vegas with the WWE Championship. Because Dean Ambrose, remember, is part of the Money in the Bank ladder match.
And then, like good old JR says, all hell broke loose.
Business just picked up.
So basically, all the guys just get into a big fight. And it's pretty crazy to see. And it's something that I've been wanting to see for a while now. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And Dean Ambrose is right. He might be the one that wins that Money in the Bank this Sunday, and from there, who knows? I mean, it doesn't matter who wins between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, because Dean Ambrose can potentially walk out as the WWE champion.
Yeah. So this guy keeps getting closer and closer.
Do you think he deserves it?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. I just don't understand these fans automatically that, okay, at first they think Roman Reigns deserves it, and then when he does become champion, they start booing him. And that doesn't make any sense because of the bookings. Are they going to do the same thing to Dean Ambrose when he wins the championship? Are they going to?
I hope it's not like that. I don't think so. Hopefully not. I mean, but you never know. I mean, Roman Reigns is kind of like the new John Cena, if you think about it, because they didn't. Calm down. It's all right. We're having a little mic difficulties here, but so anyway, so I think, in my opinion, Roman Reigns is the new John Cena, and he's basically going to be that guy that is booed right now by everyone. And in 5 years, somewhere down the line, people are going to just appreciate what he did for the business, etc. And I mean, like me, I was never really a John Cena fan, And now I can appreciate what the guy does every day, that he does something for the company that I like to watch on a weekly basis. So, you know, I have that appreciation for the guys that, like Tony says, that go in every day and do this every single day of the week, basically, and are putting in the travel time, putting in the hours, you know, to be at the top.
If you think about it, some of these guys miss their kids' little league baseball games, basketball games. Some of them miss their graduations. I mean, it's sad. But they're doing this to put food on the table at the same time. It's sad. And wrestlers lose marriages, man. There are a lot of wrestlers that lose marriages, families because of this, because they're always out on the road.
It's also no different than, you know, rock stars that are on tour or actors that are having to be in different locations to film for movies. I mean, you're not always guaranteed to be home. Even also boxers and MMA fighters that are having to be at camps far from their hometown just to get ready for the upcoming fights. So, you know, the road life's not the easiest, but it can be very rewarding for those that plied their trade. It's like what Muhammad Ali said, you know, suffer now and live life like a champ.
Great quote, by the way. Okay, so just a friendly reminder, everyone listening here on 97.7 FM, The City, there are several ways of listening to us. Tony, do you want to explain to them how they can listen to us?
Well, they could listen to us when you go click on the link on Facebook, and you go through ARMBAR, type on ARMBAR, and there'll be a link underneath, and it'll say we are live. So you click on that link. You can also go to our Twitter, am I correct?
Yes,
Twitter page.
twitter.com/UTPA_armbar.
You can also go to YouTube, and you can also, when you go to YouTube, type on the ARMBAR KCYP, and we usually put the dates when new episodes. In case you do miss our live show, we have it on YouTube all the time. Got some great episodes, and we usually put some funny videos and posts. So that's what we got so far.
Don't forget the TuneIn Radio app.
TuneIn Radio app, 97.7 FM, The City.
Yes.
You can even go to 97.7 FM, thecity.com.
Yeah, it's thecity977.com.
Absolutely.
So there's several ways for you guys to listen to us out there, not just, you know, on the radio, obviously, as you're listening to us here right now. Shout outs to everyone that's listening, by the way. But, you know, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and if you don't have radio at home or in your car, for example, everyone has a smartphone, right? You can just download the iOS or Android app called TuneIn Radio, and from there you're just going to search the key handles KCYP on there, and then you'll look for the station located. It's going to say Mission Mcallen, and boom, from there you can listen to us. We played several times throughout the weekend.
Yeah, that means no excuses, guys.
No excuses. Listen to us, all right? Okay, so going to the next segment, we're going to talk about Paige versus the WWE Women's Champion, Charlotte. We're in New Orleans, by the way. This is where Paige won her first
WrestleMania 30,
and this is where Paige won her first WWE Divas Championship, now called the Women's Championship, obviously. But it was, you know, decent match. I mean, and I'm glad to see Paige on the air more. Isaac, our buddy Isaac over there in Brownsville, might not agree with us. But
Sorry, Isaac.
Sorry, Isaac. I just watched Ride Along with Paige and Alicia Fox, by the way.
Isn't Paige your future wife?
She's my future wife, guys, by the way. So I mean,
she's dating Alberto Del Rio.
I don't care, bro. I'm more Mexican than him. I'm just kidding.
Hey, what's up, Alberto?
What's up, ADR? How's it going? Shout outs. Hope to see you soon, August 13th. So we're looking forward to that. But
Can you imagine you're at the State Farm Arena, Mike, and you see ADR, and he heard your scream. He's like, Paige is mine, Pedro.
Yes. Did you say Pedro or Pedro?
Pedro. I'm white. I get away with it.
That was hilarious. Okay, sorry. But anyway, so Paige actually gets the one up on Charlotte this past evening on Monday Night Raw, and I was happy to see it. You know, she's been kind of putting over talent for the good part of 2016, in my opinion. So for her to get a win over the Women's Championship is huge, and hopefully this puts her back into the WWE Women's Division title division picture. Excuse me. And from there, we'll see what happens. Does Charlotte even have a competitor at I was going to say TLC. Money in the Bank.
I don't know. We're already in December, but yeah. It's gonna be Charlotte and her assistant / protege.
Mhm.
I might be right about the primary than I am the former. Dana Brooke. They'll be taking on Becky Lynch and Natalya in women's tag team action Sunday night at Money in the Bank. But the way Charlotte, let's talk about how Charlotte lost to Paige. In some ways, it was kind of thanks to Dana Brooke, who, when she tossed her back in the ring, trying to get her motivated, come on, Charlotte, you got this. She just went right into a rampage.
Yep.
Pun intended, yes.
I don't know why, but I feel like I see Dana Brooke as like a modern day Arn Anderson. A little bit.
I'm definitely looking forward to see what comes
I feel like
from Dana Brooke.
I feel like I'm seeing shades of like Arn Anderson situation, because didn't Flair like put Arn Anderson like to the side all the time?
In many ways, I mean, he was the enforcer of the Four Horsemen, and also you got Tessa Blanchard, who's Tully Blanchard's daughter on NXT. She worked last night against Carmella. More on that later on. I could maybe see Charlotte. You got your enforcer, Dana Brooke, and you got Tessa Blanchard. You just need one more woman wrestler, and you got yourself the new Four Horsewomen.
I could see that.
Man.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to see females like Bailey come in and finally get her call up. And hopefully that's very soon. I mean, she still has a rematch against Asuka, but hopefully very soon we'll see that. But
Draft time's coming.
Sorry if you hear a lot of noise in the background. We are live here, and there's just a lot of commotion going on around us. All the wrestling fans just wanting to get in to get in on the action here, but unfortunately we're trying to keep them out. So
Here at the ARMBAR Arena.
Here at the ARMBAR Arena, aka Tony's Casa. But going forward, let's talk about Sheamus versus Zack Ryder.
Yes.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay.
I'm gonna just give me 5 minutes. I gotta go check on the technology on the set.
Okay. Yes.
Right back.
Tony's gonna check out the set wall. Well, me and Jay can hold up the fort for now. All right.
Yeah, we can do that.
So basically,
first time we do a 2-man team, you and I, for a little bit.
Yes, you're right. 2-man team, me and just Jay. Usually it's either me and Tony or me and Isaac, and it's the first time me and Jay. So let's go to Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. And this was actually an interesting match for me because is Zack Ryder in that Money in the Bank ladder match?
Unfortunately, no,
right.
But he's not even on the pay-per-view either.
Sheamus?
Sheamus will be on the, they call it the kickoff show. I call it the pregame show, tomato.
Yeah.
Sheamus will be wrestling Sheamus will be wrestling Apollo Crews to kind of follow up on their recent rivalry that started.
Okay, I got you.
But Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. I was really hoping for big things out of Zack Ryder in that match.
Okay, hold on. Let me interrupt you there. Okay, first of all, Sheamus, I mean, is a powerhouse in my opinion. He's one of the top tier guys in the business as far as being physical, being very aggressive in the ring style. Zack Ryder actually showed a little bit of that, in my opinion, in this match.
But I'm hoping there's more to come for Zack Ryder this year, especially after he won the Intercontinental title. And then having a high-profile match like that with Sheamus. And he has a new WWE shirt out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to have to start WWEshop.com.
Yes.
Yeah, WWEshop.com. Thank you, WWE. You're getting your free plugs over here, right? But basically, I thought it was a good match. I think Zack Ryder was very physical. He gave him I don't know how many kicks, drop kicks, etc.
Yeah.
For a while, it looked like he was in really good control of the match. But I don't. Sheamus, the guy can pull off the bro kick out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he finally, when he got the upper hand, he took advantage, and boom. And sadly, Zack Ryder didn't get the pinfall. He didn't get the victory in this one. But I'm seeing a little more out of Zack Ryder, especially against guys like Sheamus, who have been at the top of the mountain already.
Yeah.
So you know what? Zack Ryder's been there, 10 plus years already?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
He's had his WrestleMania moment as far as he said, but I think he's going to continue just growing.
Hopefully some more WrestleMania moments. He's only, 31?
Yeah.
So he's still very young.
He has also, I would say, what is the best word to say it? Starts with the P. He has the utmost potential.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential
to actually become a WWE champion.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say he doesn't deserve to be a WWE champion. It's more just a mid card, but
I don't think so.
No.
I could see him like a WWE champion a couple times. I mean, he's been there for a long time. I thought he would get released years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically fought through many poop storms, I guess you could say. But yeah, just he's been through everything. I mean, he's had, he's seen his rise, he's seen a major downfall, to the re-rise at WrestleMania, and then of course
Another downfall, right?
But yet the guy could have easily said, "No, I'm out of here. I'm going to go elsewhere."
Yeah.
But yet he's still there.
I wouldn't mind if he turned heel. If he was to turn heel,
The story has to make sense.
the story would have to make sense. But I would see more of like maybe more of a serious Zack Ryder. If he was to turn heel, he would be serious. Saying, you know what? I came here to win championships, and I want to win championships.
Yeah.
And no more this woo woo woo. I bet you he would try to turn it all around and maybe give the chance, give the fans another chance, to reevaluate him. Hey, say, you know what? I don't blame him for turning heel. And hey, yeah, give him a championship. I mean, some of these wrestlers to become championship, they have to fight dirty, and some of them have to turn heel because, hey, they deserve to be recognized. I mean, heck, if I was to turn heel and they were to do that same to me, I would turn heel. I don't care. I would say, you know what? You made me champion for one night, and then you're gonna, turn me loose like that by making me lose the next day. Yeah, I have every right to be upset. So I could see him being a future WWE champion, or maybe a multi-intercontinental champion.
Now, hopefully, I mean, it's.
I don't want to wait to that extent, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame if he did turn heel.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I mean, hopefully it doesn't have to lead to that because I think Ryder would still be a great babyface talent. But who knows?
Be the
never say
next
never.
John Cena, right?
Or the first Zack Ryder.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, he's been there almost just as long as John Cena has.
Yeah.
He came in a few years after, but
I was actually watching an old episode in the early Ruthless Aggression era, and he was there on Velocity a couple times.
Yeah, he wrestled
there you go.
Matt Morgan, who at the time this is when Velocity was still SmackDown's sister show at the
Are they
time.
going to put that on the WWE Network also, by the way? All those old Sunday Night Heat and
Gosh,
Velocity
you know
episodes?
what?
They should. Now that I think about it.
I tell you what, on Sunday shows, when we were so poor, we didn't have pay-per-views. We couldn't afford pay-per-views. Like, Sunday was my utopia at night, because Sunday Night Heat, man, on MTV or USA Network, they had the best matches. I mean, especially
Good
with
matches,
Taz and Michael Cole were leading it. It was awesome.
Probably, in my opinion, my favorite time as far as Michael Cole being an announcer is concerned, I think the best partner he had was Taz. But yeah, those were some fun times there. And it looks like, we got a viewer here. It looks like Corey from Michigan's tuning in.
All
Shout
right.
out to you, Corey. And thank you for watching.
Maybe we'll have a little call time if Mike gives me the signal.
Yeah, he is our one viewer right now, actually. So thanks a lot, Corey, for tuning in, bro. Share the wealth if you can for us, man. Spread the word, spread the armbar love, and if you can, just share the link on your Facebook. If you know any other diehard wrestling fans out there, get to it. But right now, we're gonna take a quick little break to call these beautiful letters. Tony, I hope you were practicing, bro, so we can do this again. But all right, let's go ahead and do it. We'll be right back.
KCYP, OP, Mission Mcallen.
All right, and we're back. This is 97.7 FM, and you're listening to Armbar Radio. Again, we are talking about the Raw recap right now. If you guys are just tuning in, and we have 2 viewers now, not just 1, but 2. So if you
I think the other, based on the like that we saw on the page, is from Iris Orta.
all right.
Shout out to you, Iris. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for giving us some love, the Orta sisters, right? We appreciate that. And going back to what we were talking about, so going forward from there, let's talk about Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. I want to talk about Sami Zayn's match last week, actually, versus Alberto Del Rio. Okay, basically,
Del
Rio. So basically, man, I don't know how to say this, but Sami Zayn just got his butt kicked last week versus ADR, man, and it was. It's tough to say, when guys like ADR says you have a lot to prove, etc., and he didn't prove anything when he
basically got eaten up.
He got beaten up, and Cesaro said the same thing. You've only been here since WrestleMania. You've basically, now that you're on the main roster, you're starting over fresh. Doesn't matter what you did in NXT, etc. Like, now you're playing with the top dogs. So when I was seeing that backstage, Cesaro saying like, "Hey, you need to step up, right? You're here now." I was just like, yeah, he does. I mean, I think Sami Zayn could be a huge star within the next couple of years. He could be the next, I want to say the next Seth Rollins, but and he could be the next ultimate babyface, whatever you want to call it.
He could pretty much, in my opinion, fill the void Daniel Bryan left when Daniel Bryan retired.
Pretty much, yeah. So I feel like he could be the ultimate underdog, and he did put on a great match versus Cesaro. I think that was like one that he should have made up from last week. And as you guys noticed, they're actually putting up all the Money in the Bank contestants versus each other for the past couple weeks now, just kind of mixing it up. You have KO versus whoever else, and you have Sami Zayn versus Cesaro in this match. And I just thought, wow, man! I really wanted to see what Sami Zayn could do, and he pulled it off.
It was especially that super sunset flip. I thought that was awesome.
I gotta tell you, you know what? Sami Zayn, for being the underdog he's very unselfish. If you think about it, he's always putting great talent over. He's always doing it. It's about time, someone puts him over for once. I mean, this guy puts so much talent over all the time. Even Shinsuke Nakamura. I know that this guy is from New Japan Pro, but this guy's wrestled for a long time. He was out on injury for a while. I mean, they need to give him some exposure. This guy is an ultimate underdog, and his matches come out extremely evenly balanced. I mean, the beginning to the end, I mean, I love it. I love the way he balances everything out. His kicks, the haluva kick. It's very rare you see a kick like that getting executed, because at times if you mess that kick up, it's very tough to master, and he can master it. So, yeah, highly deserved, man. He deserves it.
Very good matchup between the two. And
one thing I want to add about Sami Zayn is, man, the guy can work a crowd. He's one of those wrestlers that, just like Daniel Bryan and other former stars in the past, they know how to bring emotion into the ring, and you can actually just feel like their presence when they're trying their best to put on a good show for you, when they're trying to get the victory, whether it be for the Intercontinental Championship, for the World Title, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like you just want them to win, basically, no matter what. Do we have a caller here, Mr. J?
No, it's looks like it's a personal call.
Okay. So but last week we had some call-ins, and maybe we might get one or two before the show ends today. But great match overall. Good kudos to Cesaro for putting over Sami Zayn, and just a great match overall. I'm looking forward to see what happens this Sunday, and we're going to talk about Money in the Bank predictions towards the end here before we finish off. But next segment is going to be John Cena versus not John Cena versus AJ Styles, but John Cena and AJ Styles, the contract signing for this weekend's Money in the Bank for their match. So basically, John Cena calls out AJ Styles, and he gives AJ Styles the option. Do you want it to be one-on-one, me versus you, or do you want it to be me versus the club or the Bullet Club, whatever you want to call it, right? And after AJ Styles ranting off for a little bit, he finally decides that it's just going to be a singles match, and I'm hoping to see some great near falls in this future Sunday's match. Tony, your thoughts on that?
I feel like Finn Balor is going to pop out of nowhere.
You think there's going to be some?
Because it did not say, what's the not the club? What those guys' names?
Carl Anderson.
It didn't say Carl Anderson and say
Luke Gallows.
Luke Gallows. It could be anybody. Who knows?
But technically, Finn Balor's not yet a member of the club. But although he does have history with the club, dating back to the days of New Japan Pro Wrestling, but
you never know.
But definitely that could happen. But just the excitement of the match, John Cena versus AJ Styles. If you had told me 2 years ago this match was going to happen at one of WWE's marquee pay-per-views, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Or I would have been like, okay, what video game are you going to create AJ Styles in, for the wrestle John Cena? Or are you going to do this in a simulation of action figures? This is what we call dream match, and it's definitely going to be one that could have headlined anything, WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Money in the Bank has been, over the years, one of the best pay-per-views of the year, and it was so epic, especially Cena putting over Styles' history in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out of Los Angeles, out of Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, who often does that? Who often talks about Styles' history elsewhere? I mean, yeah, there's one other company he didn't mention, but then again,
I think John Cena is probably the only way they can get away with.
What was up with that? Him mentioning Bullet Club. I mean, him mentioning that, I thought, When he get heat for something like that, since Japan owns the rights to that name?
I think maybe he got permission from Vince or whatever, et cetera. I mean, Vince is still heavily involved backstage.
Vince has a Bullet Club T-shirt.
Wow.
He was wearing one.
So no comment there, but at the same time, I think they're starting to recognize stuff like this a little more, that there are, scenes out there. They did mention Ring of Honor, right? They did mention, the New Japan Pro Wrestling, et cetera. So I think that's a big thing. I think that, they're starting to recognize it, especially with the Cruiserweight Classic coming up. I think that's going to be a huge, and I know recently that I think they signed with their first Chinese, superstar also. So I'm looking forward to see what happens there. I hope maybe we'll see him on NXT sometime within the next several months. But I think it's just, I think they should put it out there that, WWE is an international business now, if you think about it. And they're actually together a contract. Yeah, they're bringing in everyone now. I mean, from every part of the world. I mean, if you think about it, before it was more just like, territories down here, Canada maybe, and now you're seeing bigger stars from Ireland, from Russia, from China, from Japan, and this just means more exposure for WWE and its content. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, especially seeing talents like Shinsuke Nakamura coming in. I'm just so shocked to see and just impressed from what I'm seeing. Like, guys from TNA also, obviously, these are more local guys. But, I mean, for people that are coming from, other side of the world, basically, and having to adapt, listening to Shinsuke Nakamura cut a promo with Finn Balor on NXT, which I thought was crazy. I was like, is he going to talk at all? Because I know his English probably still isn't that good, obviously. But that wasn't the case from what I saw on NXT, right, when they were promoting their match, hopefully, which will be at the next takeover event.
Yeah, which will be the already now sold out NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Again, wow.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a huge weekend in August when you think about it. I mean, you got the Friday before SummerSlam, you got Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Then that Saturday night NXT Takeover Brooklyn. Then UFC 202, which is the possible debut in the Octagon of CM Punk. And then, of course, SummerSlam on August 21st. So that's going to be one weekend in August that I definitely don't want to miss out on. How about you guys?
If I have time off, I can watch it.
All I can say is I have my tickets for the August 13th show, so I will be there hanging out with my buddy Carlos.
What about us, man? What about us?
Start saving those pennies, Tony. You might get those nosebleed section seats, but hey, man.
Man, I was trying to get you to get us the front.
I'm sorry, brother. No, dude, they were honestly, those tickets were about $600 each because they're all VIP tickets. Apparently, that's what my.
So you're gonna be in the front row?
Yeah, he said no. We're gonna be stadium seating, but we're gonna be like one of the first or second row from the floor seats. You know what I mean? So we're still gonna be close, regardless. I mean, it's a State Farm Arena.
We got to get to know your friend real well.
Yeah. So
and your streak continues because since the second live event in April 2004, you've not missed one show.
I have not missed one show, and me and my buddy Carlos have been going every year since then. Along with his sister. His sister goes with us also. Obviously, want to give her a shout out. But it's been every show, no matter what the card is, I'm always going in. With my voice, like this, and by the time I come out, I have a very froggy voice, is what I like to call it. A croaky voice. Yeah, all the screaming that all the booing that I did for all the people that I really, really hate. So,
what did you boo last time when WWE was in?
Oh man, now I'm starting to just be on both ends of the spectrum. I go for face and heel, doesn't matter who. So I wasn't really booing, but I mean. At the time, I think what the main event was, Roman Reigns versus was it Dean Ambrose? I don't even remember.
Sheamus.
Probably Sheamus. Yeah, I was actually booing Roman Reigns. I was giving Sheamus the praise actually, even though at the time I think Sheamus was Sheamus the WWE champion. I don't even remember.
I think he was.
It was December.
It was
it was a January event. No, I think Roman Reigns was
champion
at the time before he lost it at the Rumble. So, for the fans that are listening, don't forget August 13th, we are going to have a WWE live event. The card still isn't really set in stone because I think it's going to be after the WWE draft is initially taken there. So, I mean, it's still going to be a good show regardless. I can't wait to see who comes out here. And don't forget to get your tickets, statefarmarena.com or Ticketmaster.
Or just go to the box office.
Or just go to the box office. So, let's go on to the next segment, though. We got a little sidetracked there, but that's all right. We have a little time, actually. We're pretty good on time today. since we already talked about NXT basically, or did we talk about NXT?
Not necessarily.
We might still get there.
We'll get there.
So Kevin Owens and Alberto Del Rio versus the Lucha Dragons. This is kind of a match that I don't think that Kevin Owens wanted to be in, or maybe either.
Neither one, but
yeah.
The stakes were very high on that one, especially with their Money in the Bank spots being on the line. If they lost, the Lucha Dragons would have replaced Owens and Del Rio. But man, they worked. Let's face it, they didn't work well together at all as a tag team, but they managed to beat Sin Cara and Kalisto to retain their Money in the Bank spots.
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
Yeah. Luckily, they retained. They kept their Money in the Bank spots, which I hope they didn't lose. I mean, not a lot going on with Sin Cara and Kalisto right now. Unfortunately, Kalisto just came off that title run with his U.S. Championship, and unfortunately, he couldn't reclaim it against Rusev. And that's just disheartening for me because I like Kalisto a lot, and it hits close to home because he is from Mexico, right?
I believe so, but he also did reside in Chicago from what Kalisto.
So he's from Mexican American descent. He's Hispanic, is what we like to call it down here, right? I got
to meet Kalisto in August 2015 at a live event. Pretty cool dude. So
there you go.
I was awesome seeing him win the U.S. title twice, but it was disheartening that he couldn't get it back. But hey. Could be another run at the tag titles for he and Sin Cara. They've been NXT tag team champions. Hopefully they'll become WWE tag team champions.
That's right. Maybe we'll see it again. But pretty much, like, going back to the match, though, it was pretty much more of a squash match. I hate to say it. For the other two end. For Sin Cara, it was mostly primarily focused on KO and Alberto Del Rio, and at one point I think KO wanted to walk out, right?
Yeah, but if he did,
he wanted to walk out.
Yeah, he walks out on that match. He walks out on Money in the Bank.
So, but afterwards, I think they got into it, right?
I don't know why, but I see a big tension between those two. Like after Money in the Bank, I feel like they're gonna fight each other.
I could see that.
That next pay-per-view, like at SummerSlam, who could outperform who?
Maybe we'll see another Team Hell No from those two guys.
Can you imagine those guys as tag team?
Well, we saw it Monday on Raw, so
they were just arguing and bickering, and they're like, "Oh, you're speaking Spanish" or something like that.
Owens walks out on more tag team partners, a la like the late Bad News Brownwood in Survivor Series. Anytime he was put in a Survivor Series elimination match, so we'll see what happens from there as far as how those two gel. But this Sunday, they ain't got to worry about being tag team partners, but they might have to be tonight on SmackDown. For a big 6-man tag, which is the SmackDown main event later on tonight.
Yeah,
excited to see that.
Yes,
but we are not watching it.
I just love the bickering. I just love the bickering, and then at the end of the match, what was it? It was that match with Cesaro was ended up being the announcer that night, and then you had. Alberto Del Rio is the
special guest timekeeper, I think. Or
yes.
He was the hold on. Who was the Cesaro was the ring announcer, Del Rio was the timekeeper, and we had Sami Zayn and KO on commentary for the main event. For Monday Night Raw.
They were just commentating and not on that commentating.
This is actually okay. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. I didn't get to see the main event, so y'all are gonna have to fill me in more on the actual Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho match.
Aside from Cesaro obviously pointing out Jericho's former hometown, which is Stupid Idiotville, and saying that Dean
idiot. Sorry,
and also saying, well, for Dean Ambrose from Cincinnati, Ohio, but he looks like he just rolled out of bed. Dean Ambrose, standard matchup between the two. Ambrose got the victory with the dirty deeds, and then a brawl took place, which ended up with Jericho getting the better of all the competitors, and then climbing the ladders rather, and then taking down the Money in the Bank briefcase, saying that, hey, he could be the one that ends up leaving Money in the Bank with the contract, but could walk out with more if he decides to cash in that same night. But nonetheless, a standard matchup, between Ambrose and Jericho, between the two, which was ultimately the main event of Monday Night Raw this past Monday.
That was a good one. All right, so that closes out Raw for this week. Are we going to get into NXT before we close out the show? Hold on, Tony. Are we going to have a caller? I mean, I'm just going to ask him right now.
I'm trying to get a caller. Can you hear me on that thing?
Yeah, I can't hear you because I don't have headphones, but you might want to.
I'm trying to get a caller soon. Hold on. Let me see what I can see. Because I have a lot of. call waiting's starting up.
Okay, so while Tony's doing that, while Tony gets the kinks worked out over here on his end, let's talk about NXT and just what's going on there. I mean, not a lot of huge stuff going on in this past week's episode of NXT, but the main portion, and we'll get to the main event, but let's talk about the debut of the Authors of Pain with their manager, Paul. I can't even say his last name. Is it Ellering? Okay, Paul Ellering, who was apparently, and I don't even remember this. This is how old this guy is. That he was the manager for the Road Warriors, and I didn't really follow. I guess I followed them when they were in the WWE. I know they probably wrestled for different promotions.
Yeah.
So this is probably like more in the 80s though.
Yeah.
So, at the time when I was watching it, Paul Ellering was already out of the picture. I don't recall seeing him.
He came in for a little bit in '92, and then he came back in '98. But that's when they had the Legion of Doom feuding with Disciples of Apocalypse, where Ellering switched to DOA. Yeah, which I thought I didn't see the point in that, but oh well.
Yeah, so basically the Authors of Pain, these two new young kids. One of them looks like a Samoan, and the other one looks like his twin brother, basically.
Yeah,
huge, maybe close to 300-pound guys. Haven't seen a big tag team. Yeah,
it's an understatement.
Yeah, right. Close, maybe a little over 300. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the statistics about these guys yet. But anyway, I mean, still no names on them. They just call themselves the Authors of Pain, and brutal guys. I mean, if you watch this match versus the other two guys, CJ O'Doyle and Sean Pitchelli, I can't even say the name over here.
I don't think I even caught the names, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got it here on the recap. That's what I'm saying. So CJ Doyle versus Sean Pitchelli. I think they're an Irish team or something like that, Scottish, something like that. But basically, very big guys, very physical guys. I don't know how else to put it. They use their weight. They use their body to hurt you.
They remind me of a fifth 3-minute warning.
Yeah, so basically their main move is kind of like how do I say this? It's
like a side Russian leg sweep from one wrestler while the other clotheslines the guy into the side Russian leg sweep.
Yes, that's exactly what it says here. It's called
Anderson's,
the AOP.
Anderson Gallows kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson do. Well, they had a setup like that also, actually. But this one, they're actually doing kind of like a swinging, like the leg sweep, like you said, and then the other guy hits him with a clothesline. So very impressed. I mean, debut. I mean, I'm looking forward to see what these guys have to say in the tag division over here at NXT. And the tag division is kind of big right now in NXT, in my opinion. I think that's the top thing for them. I think that's the best thing that's going on for that company right now is their tag division, and I can't wait to see what they, it looks like they're trying to make a name for themselves. So American Alpha obviously is going to come back hopefully within the next couple weeks and get in their face, and we'll see a great tag match between those two guys. So going forward, we're going to talk about Carmella, the number one diva in NXT. SABLOUS. I can't even say it. It's her song. I like her song.
It's an awesome song.
Yeah.
Just please don't sing it again.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, just Carmella had a very good match with Tessa Blanchard, the daughter of
Tony Blanchard. And actually, we're gonna not be hearing that eventually from Tessa Blanchard that she's the daughter. I mean, hopefully it's just Tessa Blanchard, and that's it. She's trying to make a name for herself. I mean, very good match. I mean, I'm liking more from what I'm seeing from Tessa Blanchard. Your thoughts on that, Mr. J?
Very good matchup. Another great display for Carmella, who is definitely. I see her as the one girl that I think when Bayley moves up to the main roster, they're going to be molding Carmella as the next babyface woman that they're going to push, unless they already see that in Asuka.
I see it. Well, I mean, I see it in Asuka, but I honestly already see it in Carmella. Yeah. I don't see Bayley as the number one, woman competitor on that show anymore. Unfortunately, she had her title run. She's put on several great matches. She's headlined doing that. She was the one that did the Iron Woman match
with Sasha Banks last October.
They've given her a lot of opportunities, but now it's time to take what you've learned here, and hopefully they call her up after after she gets a rematch. I'm not saying that she's going to win it back or lose to Asuka, etc. But whatever happens from there, hopefully you just see great things from her. And she's the big fan favorite. She is the John Cena of the female division here in the company.
That's what I would say.
That's so much. I hate to compare her to John Cena because the guy, I mean, when it's all said and done, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, like when one friend of mine used to say that, like, oh, that Kelly was the John Cena of the Divas division. I was like,
that's like saying
that was just hating because he's not a big Cena fan and was looking for something to compare him against, but I was just like, sorry, I don't agree with that. But nonetheless, though, Carmella has a very good look to her, very good future, had a great match. I love the finisher that she has.
And I guess they finally gave it a name, right?
I think it's like
it's called the Code of Silence.
The Code of Silence.
I mean, if you think it's a headlock with her legs, basically, and it looks like she's giving them a sharpshooter with their
a sharpshooter. Like a sharpshooter triangle.
And it's something that the opponent can't really get out of from, or at least I haven't seen like a lot of people get out of that move.
I don't think anyone has so far to date.
So she's undefeated with that move, not as far as the competitor goes, but I mean just her using that move, she's won like pretty much like 99% of her matches.
And then you mentioned about the tag team division in NXT, not just the Authors of Pain and the Revival, who are the tag team champs, and of course also
some new guys
also, right? TM61, great matchup.
TM61, versus Blake and Murphy, which is kind of had to rekindle their relationship. I know they had recently broke up, right?
Well, Alexa Bliss left them, then they decided to part ways and come back again. But after last night's tag match, I think they ought to think about parting ways yet again. This time for good. TM61 definitely has a bright future for them.
We'll see what goes down there. I mean, this is a tag team from England, right? I think, or
I believe so. They're from the United Kingdom. Yeah. They had spent some time in the Pro Wrestling Noah promotion in Japan, so definitely it's a very good upswing for TM61. And then, of course, also the rematch from the opening match of NXT TakeOver the End with Andrade Cien Almas and Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10. Great matchup. Kind of seemed like the NXT crowd wasn't too receptive, but then again, Ty Dillinger is the homegrown talent of NXT.
They love him, man. They love Ty Dillinger.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's 10.
It's 10. Yeah, I'm a big Ty Dillinger fan, and I haven't really seen too much of a body of his work. Other than from what I mean, like you said, he's the homegrown talent. So So just from seeing him, I'm a big fan, and I finally got to see him kind of cut a promo backstage when he was talking to Andrade Cien Almas, saying that last week was just a fluke or whatever, blah blah blah. Like I'm going to prove you wrong. Even though he lost the match this week, right?
Yeah.
So,
but hopefully there's more of an upswing for the Perfect 10 later on in the future. And of course, Finn Balor asked, speaking of the future, what's next for Finn Balor? And the person that answered that question, an old friend of his, the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Even though I kind of already knew about this future match that's happening already with those two, I still freaked out when Balor was out there on the mic, and then you just see the lights go off. I was like, well, who's going to come out? I don't know what's next for Balor, right? Because he's done it all there in NXT.
He's become the NXT icon.
He was the guy. He was the guy that came in after Neville, in my opinion, and just took over and did what he needed to do. Whoa, are we close for time?
I think we're getting.
Tony's got a
bell. There are some fans calling us. Is it okay to call?
Is it okay for us to call them, or
for them to call us?
Depends who it is. We have about 5 minutes, so we only have like one.
Rodrigo Wong wants to know if we can call, or he's thinking the show is tonight. It's actually live right now.
We're live right now, yeah. But tell him if he wants to call, he's got to do it now. And he's only got like about a minute because we got about 5 minutes left on there.
Okay.
But as you were saying, you were just freaking out, like the prospect of Balor versus Nakamura.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what the championship match may be at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn coming up in August, I still say what should close out the show should be Balor and Nakamura, especially if it ends up where Balor is being moved up to the main roster. At that point, I think I could see Balor kind of passing the torch to Nakamura as the new face of NXT, kind of pick up where the Demon leaves off. But yeah, that's going to be one heck of a matchup.
It was a pretty good promo, like I was talking about earlier, where Nakamura actually did most of the talking when he entered the ring there, and I just was I'm becoming a bigger fan of his as I see him do more as far as cutting promos, doing more in the ring matches. I think I just don't want it to be to the point where like they keep hyping him up to set him up for failure. You know what I mean?
No. It's it's kind of tough to say. I mean, we want to one day see him on Monday Night Raw, but at the same time, though, for every John Cena, there was Mr. Kennedy, if you get my drift. I mean, when you think about it also, and I'm getting a little off topic and I apologize, but in some ways, would you kind of say back in the original brand extension era, in some ways, would you say SmackDown going to be considered NXT before NXT was NXT? Especially when SmackDown had some of their homegrown guys like Mr. Kennedy and MVP, and before then, guys like Cena, were, hey, man, these guys are doing great on SmackDown. Love to see what they can do on Raw. Some succeeded like Cena, others some mixed results, but we've seen that also with NXT. I mean, we've seen Kevin Owens do well, but for every Owens, there's also been Tyler Breeze, The Ascension, so it has its results. As the old saying goes, results may vary. But would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree that this SmackDown kind of during the Ruthless Aggression era, but this is like maybe like the mid 2000s, not so much the late like 2009, 2010, but more like 2005, 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
where it was that portion where they would bring in the new talent, and that's where they would test them out. I mean, they would be in the first hour of the card basically, or you would see guys like who could I name? Give me some names. Not including John Cena, but
back in the early Ruthless Aggression.
I mean, Randy Orton, for instance.
Randy Orton's
a big name, obviously.
Luther Reigns. No, not Luther Reigns. Luther Reigns? Was that what his name was?
That was Luther Reigns, but he never moved to Raw. He never went there. Mark Jindrak went to Raw, but never appeared.
I remember Mark Jindrak, actually. Yeah. The reflection of perfection, right? That's what they called him, right?
Yeah. Marco Corleone, as he's now known in Mexico, but he went to Raw, but never even had one debut match. I think he was already let go before that even happened.
Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin. He has a very good success.
Super impressive. A guy that should have been.
Was he Intercontinental Champion?
Multiple times. And United States Champion.
5 or 6 times, multiple times. The golden standard, right?
Then also Rey Mysterio, who was the face of SmackDown in many ways, or one of the faces. His 2008, 2009 time on Raw, what would you have given it on a scale of 1 to 10?
His title victory on Raw, or
no, I mean like his time on Raw, during the time he was on Raw.
I mean, I thought it was good. I'll give it a 9, dude. Honestly, I mean,
was good, but Ray to me, I always associated more with SmackDown.
Well, when they came down here, he was more associated with like the house shows for SmackDown, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, guys, so we have about a little close to a minute left. Closing shout outs. Let's go for the week.
I'll go ahead and start out with the shout outs, of course. Just want to give a shout out to my mom, as well as to my Uncle Joe, my brother Joseph, and my sister Brittany, as well as also to the friends and family of ARMBAR. Shout outs and thank yous to you as well. And also just want to wish a happy birthday to a close friend of mine, Cassandra. Happy birthday.
I would like to give a shout out to my wife, Liza. Thank you for supporting our show week in, week out. And my family, standing by me, my friends that are sitting with me, and Isaac, I'm sure, in Brownsville. I know he's watching us.
We miss you, Isaac.
We miss you big time, man. Guys, you guys have been sticking to it together for a while, and Mike the Biz, this guy here, you know what? When he says something, he does it. He means business.
No pun intended.
Yeah. And then Joe, one of our listeners as well. I also want to give this guy a shout out right here, Jay. Jay, sometimes when Mike and Isaac were out there, we're busy with finals, trying to cram, this guy was right here with me. And, he's one of my workout buddies too at night. So if I'm in the mood to go work out, this is my tag team partner at night. This guy, he always sticks right by me during the gym, during the workouts, and he's here with me, man, and we're enjoying it. This guy is Mr. WrestlePedia for a reason. Shout out to this guy here. All
right, so no shout outs for me this week, guys. Shout outs to the listeners, okay? To the listeners, and you guys here, I love you all, by the way.
Yeah, to the ARMBAR Nation fans, Chris from HEB, I know he's busy. All the listeners here. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties right now on the calls for some reason. I'm having some
Next week.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and close it out. Let's do our famous saying, all right? You want to do it together or do you want me to do it, Tony?
Oh, man.
I already know it, so.
Let's see here. I have it saved. I have a feeling I'm going to stumble.
Don't stumble.
I have a feeling I'm going to
Or if you want to just, I'll say it for it if you want.
Hard work pays off.
Dreams come true.
Bad times don't last,
But bad guys do.
And if you're not down with armbar, we got 2 words for you.
No gloves.
You know what I was thinking? We should come with a new liner for 2017.
Next year. We'll talk about that later. But thank you all for listening. This is 97.7 FM The City, and we are listening to Armbar Radio. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks again for listening. All right, we went over like 2 minutes of that story, so I was like, oh. All right, that's all right. They usually still play it back, even if we're over like
we're always late. They fuck up more than we do.
Yeah, true.
Oh, hey, it's the after hour.
One more after hour, right? Okay, hold on. Let me. Should I edit it here? I guess I'll edit it here. Shit.
That's a big one.
And who's that guy?
That's Alex from Seafood.
The only 2 guys I know from there, both you and Mighty Mike.
Mighty Mike.
Or I'm sure as the ladies call him Magic Mike.
Yo, man. They don't listen to our show, do they?
Who?
Mike.
Who?
Some of the partners.
Take 6 minutes to fucking edit. Okay, hold on. Some people know about it. I don't know if like people listen to it, but anyway, we're still technically on the air live on YouTube. So if you guys want to keep talking, Mr. Michigan over there is still watching, I think.
Let's have him call in.
Go ahead and do some call-ins, guys. Sorry about early in the first 60 minutes. We're pressed for time. If you want to give us a call.
Yeah, we got to kill that hour.
Somebody say something, please.
Who's saying that?
Call
we have one viewer.
Huh?
We have one viewer.
It's probably Liza.
No, I don't think she's watching. She hates us. She hates us. Shoot, it's already 5 o'clock, man. I feel like I've been gone all day. No, I have.
Well, technically it's 5:15, but yeah.
I hear Milo over there.
I thought it was a bird you guys had.
Croaking over here.
That dog is something else, guys.
I got a bird recently.
You got a bird?
Yeah. Named him Walker.
Why Walker?
It's because my uncle's a big fan of Walker, Texas Ranger.
I used to love that show. I used to anticipate for a Saturday night show. Oh, we got a caller.
We have a caller, and it's not the interim general manager of Raw. Hello, you are on the air.
Hey Jay, how's it going, guys?
It's going good. We're here on the after hour show for Armbar. So don't worry, you will not.
How you guys are sponsored by Fresca, Coca-Cola Cherry.
Yeah, you're watching it. YouTube is gonna freaking.
Dude, I was thirsty, man. My wife got the wrong one. Oh, that's all right.
I was trying to hide the Sprite Zero logo, but I forgot there's still one here on the back.
Gosh.
I love it though. I love her no matter what.
Sponsored by Fresca. Yeah.
I love Fresca. Can you be a sport, Mike, and get me a glass?
But yeah, just I know we're just a little pressed for time, but I figured, hey, we're still here on the air for our after hour, so we figured, hey, why not have one of our loyal listeners from Michigan call in?
Yeah. Gotta represent the Detroit.
Gotta represent.
I didn't catch a whole lot of the episode. It was I got jumped in right when you were talking about Zack Ryder, and I really do agree with Tony that there needs to be something to reinvigorate his character, or at least him. Maybe a heel turn. Yeah, I really actually do agree with that. That would add a whole new dimension to the character.
At least you agree with me 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like he should just turn heel because this woo-woo thing is not working for him. And I don't think...
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
I like it.
But that's also not discount, of course, what it's somewhat done for his career. I mean, he's been Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion, but yeah. I mean, I hope that
Tag champion also?
Tag team champion.
Sure, maybe this is what I think they should do, Corey. Remember when the Hurricane turned back to Gregory Helms and got real serious? And he was very self-loathing. And he got championships. He made it to Cruiserweight Championships a couple times. He won some championship victories.
It was the longest reigning Cruiserweight champion in WWE history.
Exactly. So I think that's what Ryder needs to do. I think he needs to get that self-loathing persona so he can get some championships. And then that'll give the fans maybe some more respect, to him.
Yeah.
Like, after that, he can go back to being woo-woo-woo. Afterwards, that'll give some exposure. I think that's what should happen.
But I also agree with Jay in the fact that the storyline has to fit. Look what Sean Stasiak did in WWE. If you remember Planet Stasiak,
I try to forget that.
You turn Zack Ryder heel. The wrong thing happens, we're looking at another Matt Hardy of today, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, Matt Hardy, the broken Matt Hardy, who had probably still one of the funniest. Well, it was not intended to be funny, but it ended up being funny.
I love you.
The way, and is it okay, Corey, that I could say on the air that you are the number one anti-fan when it comes to Impact Wrestling?
No. The Impact Wrestling is on Pop TV. It doesn't Pop TV at all.
That's what we love.
God.
A different opinion.
When the uncensored now.
I mean, seriously, about 5 years ago, I just heard one big, loud flush out of Florida. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there was a time when Impact was what NXT is today, except, unfortunately, WWE knows how to do it right, while TNA were... How many times have they been late on paychecks? But
I lost count.
They were late for like 2 months, dude.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I mean, they still got great talent there, but at the same time, people are still counting the days to when Dixie Carter eventually, sells the business, and maybe one day we'll see Vince McMahon on Impact Wrestling saying, "I now own."
How many names did Jim Cornette on that latest rant about the whole Matt and Jeff Hardy? If you go online and listen to Jim Cornette's rant, he called Dixie Carter about 12 or 14 different names, some of which I can't say on the air.
You can now. It's uncensored.
You have to hear that description.
Yeah, well, I think Matt, the look he's giving me is like, I've seen that video, and he was like, yeah, I believe it. I mean, then again, Cornette did work for Dixie for about 3 years, but then again, he was also forced to work side by side with a guy by the name of Vince Russo.
Yeah, well, as far as TNA goes, we're glad we're not with Dixie. Hooray!
Where is Dixie these days?
She's still with TNA, trying to keep it afloat, and also with minority ownership being...
Salvage the flaming train of crap that it is.
And also with minority ownership being purchased by Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins, of all people.
Really?
Yes. I texted you that. Even you said you thought Jim Herd. Now, Jim Herd, for the younger fans out there, Jim Herd was the guy that when Ted Turner bought the NWA and later became WCW in '89, he put in charge of WCW. And you're thinking, who the heck is Jim Herd? Jim Herd was a guy who ran a radio station or a television station out of St. Louis that produced Wrestling at the Chase, a very hot program. Yeah. And his last job was working at Pizza Hut.
Well, but he was the regional manager for Pizza Hut, kids.
And the guy that was single-handedly responsible for Ric Flair giving the bird to WCW when he took the world title with him when he went to WWE in '91. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that was long. I was like, what, 5 years old?
I was 7, but it was still historic. I mean, how often do you see the guy with the competition's championship showing up on another show with it?
They had to censor it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they censored the NWA.
Yeah, WCW threatened to sue. So if you see any of these old matches, you'll just see this giant pixelated thing that looks like a giant wart on Ric Flair, and you're wondering, what the heck is that? So...
But can you imagine if someone decides to walk out with a TNA title on Monday Night Raw?
Exactly. Remember when they had to censor out the turnbuckle pads because they had the WWF sign?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And I believe,
hated those
I
days.
believe many editors spent many hours trying to erase history, and I'm so glad you can't do it. But
Especially not on the WWE Network. Huh?
hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Oh, there you guys. There you guys are. Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, especially on the WWE Network, which we all know is for $9.99, unless you're a new subscriber.
Yeah.
But of course,
Well, anyway, I gotta get back to work, guys. But keep it real, guys. Catch y'all later.
all right, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for calling in, man. And get us.
problem.
Hopefully next week we can get your intake on Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Bye.
Peace out.
You got a caller from Michigan. That's great.
Exactly. An old friend of mine. Our friend of ours, I should say. All I can say is, Mike, if you had ever met him, you might like him too.
Yeah,
Not
he
just kidding,
seems like a
Corey.
cool guy, right?
Yeah, but
Does he still have that mullet?
I mean, he should be on the right.
Yeah,
he
he
used
still
to be a
has-
manager. So
yeah, he still has the Hogan mullet.
really, he has a mullet. Like, really? Show me a
Well, he
picture of
looks
this
like
guy.
Joe Dirt.
Show me a picture of this guy. I want to see.
I don't know how many pictures of me on him, but
Facebook. Hello.
Just picture
Beach.
Joe Dirt with blonde hair. Wait, no, Joe Dirt
With
had blonde hair.
Facebook. Hello.
I gotta get going soon because I gotta go pick up my brother from JCPenney.
Careful there. I guess we should stop the podcast, right? We're still technically live.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Eating
Bye,
pizza.
guys.
No gloves.
No gloves.
See you next
Oh,
week.
Mike's enjoying his pizza.